Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Master of Me podcast. Here today because to fulfill a promise, and that is to bring value when I have it. I'm sitting in front of somebody today that I'm excited to interview, to talk to build a relationship with, to look in the eyes and just learn for myself who that person is. When I got into this industry, this name that I'm about to mention was known as a grinder. I think maybe even at KW at the time, somebody who just lived and died by making the phone calls and having the quality conversations and getting after it. 10 years later, here we are. I'm sitting in a beautiful building in front of a bunch of beautiful people, learning that what I believe in about growth is real because I'm watching it firsthand for myself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Rebecca Crane.
Okay, it's weird enough to be on a podcast and then to have a bunch of people watching is a little different, but thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Rebecca, talking about growth, from where you're at to where you are now, give me something that will just really stick with me as far as something hard in your life that you had to overcome so that way you can keep doing it. I know real estate is such a hard thing to do. It can be. Mm-hmm. However, if you were speaking to yourself or to anybody else in the audience right now, what would you tell them to just continue to do and get after?
I would just say that you could never dream too big. I have been my own worst enemy in this business, and I've held myself back from a lot of opportunities, possibly just overthinking things, taking too long to make a decision. And I know that if you can actually dream it and then write it down and make steps, you can achieve it.
Right.
And unfortunately, some people just, they get scared to dream too big.
Right. That's a serious thing, I believe. Like, I think it is a number one reason. The stuff that happens between these 6 inches of our ears here is the way we think. Mm-hmm. And those thoughts, we turn them into reality. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if the reality knows a difference between the way we're thinking about it and the way that we're seeing it. But I know that if we're playing it out in our head over and over, whether it's positive or negative, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so with that, like, I could imagine that being something that you have to overcome on a daily basis. For me, it's the doubt. It is the self-worth, the not feeling good enough to be out and fulfilling my purpose. Like, I feel that my destiny's big. I feel that the calling's big. And then there's another voice that wants to pull me down.
Yeah, it's like you don't deserve it.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. And I think that that's the real challenge right there, is that the work that we do, I think, is doable. Mm-hmm. However, I think what's the real problem is everything that else that's going on in our head that's holding us back.
Yeah, or the images that we're seeing online that's like, I should be here. I should be doing this.
Right.
Instead of just really focusing on what's important to you.
Right. That's a heavy one for me too, is not comparing with the people that I started out with 10 years ago, the ones that are running their own branches and they have these huge teams and they're all millionaires, and putting myself like in my own shoes and knowing that it's okay where I'm at and that my journey is my journey for a reason, and that I impact people and know that I matter in that aspect.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I'm very guilty of it as well. I see people and like, oh my gosh, they're out there crushing it, they're grinding, they're doing this. But ultimately, like, I like to be able to pick up my son from daycare every day at 5 o'clock. I like to be able to have weekends to spend with him. So yeah, maybe I'm not making as much money as the next person, but I have a good quality of life, and that's what's most important to me.
100%. I think that's super important. That's funny that you mentioned the daycare. Like, I've seen you. I've always like wanted to approach you or something like that. Well, it'll be weird, like up in a parking lot. And then I'm at my gym, so it's, so
yeah,
chase
just
you
so you guys know, his gym is next door to the daycare. So this all makes sense. It's
a little bit of context on how that works. But that is, it's a beautiful thing because it shows like the person that you are, like showing up. And it's in the afternoon. Like, you've already put a work days in and you're showing up for your kid and being able to see that, like, I would know right away, like, is that a person I can connect with, yes or no? Like, I've had enough trials and tribulations in my life to have a filter process of people that I can come across and that I might think I want to know. So I'm glad that you you took me on here when I walked in out of the blue, and you know, things lined up for me perfectly in life to put me at the right time in the right place in areas, and I truly believe in that. And what I want to jump into ties into that with home ownership. I think that I truly believe that there are some people that if I didn't have my hands on that loan, or if I wasn't there to coach them through the hard times, like, would they be in a house? Would they still be waiting? Would they were pushing through fears, the same stuff we were talking about in the beginning of this?
Yeah.
And luckily, like, those people are now seeing their pictures of getting married and having kids and doing different chapters of their lives, whether they're good and bad. But being a part of that journey is something huge. For you, what do you find in your heart or on a day-to-day to just keep pushing through for other than yourself, for people?
Honestly, it's the little moments. It's the moments when a buyer comes back to me and they're like, because of you, I have $100,000 in equity and I can start this next chapter. I can buy this investment property. Or it's an agent on my team that comes up to me and it's like, because of your help, I did this and I am where I am today because of you. Like, it's those little moments that just fuel my heart and soul and just keep me going.
100%. And I think that that's important to feel valued in that and to hear it. Like, not everybody gets their flowers while they're here. And for somebody to tell you, like, is a big deal.
One, and it's not always easy. I mean, right now I'm selling a property for someone that their daughter is very sick and they need to move across the country to get closer to their daughter. And so you're trying to help them navigate the process of selling a home, which can already be stressful. But now you've got to also add in that extra empathy and just consideration for where they're at emotionally, to help them. You know, it's not just about numbers at that point. It's really about helping them get to that next chapter and getting them through the process.
100%. I think it's big stuff because that's it could be fearful for them. They have no idea what they're doing. And it's your expertise and your time on task that you've poured in with the sacrifices that you've made with your life and your family and your business to show up and be the person when you need to be the person in that moment for that conversation. When you take that call or you make that call.
Yep.
Which is big.
Absolutely.
If you were to speaking to a first-time home buyer or somebody who's thinking about purchasing a home, what would you tell them before they start the process? If you just seen them at Fry's in line, they talked about buying a house, but you had something to mention at that time.
I like a couple tips I would give people before, of course, telling them to call a real estate agent would be to really look at their finances. Like, what can you afford? I always tell people, you do not want to be house broke. So think about what affordable monthly payment would be for you. Then we can figure out what that means as far as a purchase price goes or getting concessions to buy down rates. But if you don't know how much you can afford, we don't have a basis to start off of. And also just like comparing and making a list of like what you actually need and what would be nice to have. You know, there's two differences. And so making sure that you know exactly what you want in your space so that we can start off on a good basis of like, okay, this is what you need financially and this is what you need for your lifestyle. Right.
No, I think that's big. I tell people on the phone, like, my goal is to help you and not hurt you. And I see that all the time. Like, I'm stretching them out because they want their want list. They want their versus what they need or what's going to help them. And you see them like with their family, they just had a baby or something, and like, do they need the pool right now?
I know, and some people, like, they think that there's this perfect house out there for them. Right. And there are very few that actually find a 10 out of 10, right? An 8 can be a 10 very quickly once you move in and start doing some improvements. So I think instead of looking for the perfect home, you look for the home that has the good bones and the place that you can make the perfect home.
I love that. I mean, if my backyard feels like an oasis for me, because I've poured 10 years now into working on the weekends in that thing, and just being able to mow the lawn in the back and work on the plants that I've built and see how far they've come and grow. Like, my house is my house. Like, it has whatever square footage it is. Does it matter to me? It fits everybody.
Yeah.
We all get to build a home out of there. But most importantly, where those memories that we have right now are coming out of this house that could have been, at the time, our stepping stone house. Like
Yeah.
that was going to be our, and granted now with the equity, like it can still be, like it's there, but we started that process. And I think that it goes back to that, when's the best time to buy a house concept. What would you say? Like for me, I have an answer, but what would you say if somebody's like, when's a good time? Should I time the market? Should I?
God.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it opens up.
But you could never time the market. It's impossible.
Right.
The longer you wait for rates to drop, the higher the prices are going to go.
Right.
So you're just, it's always going to equal out. And
Right.
the sooner you buy a house, the more the more equity you're going to gain over time.
100%.
With appreciation year after year, you're losing out on money by not buying now.
Right.
And some people too, there's an agent on my team, her name is Tiffany, and she says this a lot to her clients. Like, people have this like idea of like the perfect home for them, but sometimes that's the next house.
Right.
Like, let's talk about your house today. Like,
Right.
maybe you could be okay in this house for the next 5 years, and then get into the forever home.
Right. Leverage it. Use it. It's that concept of when was the best time to plant a tree. And just like I mentioned in my story, it was 10 years ago. That's why they look so nice now.
Yeah.
However, moving into something a little bit different here. What's something like really during open houses or your time with buyers, like what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened? Like in your 10-year career. Yeah, like
Okay.
through
This
that.
is a fun question.
I feel
Okay.
like we're getting a little serious,
Yeah,
so
okay.
I want to line up a little bit.
I was at an open house. Funny story is we just sold this house, but this was when it was on the market probably 8 years ago. And I was holding this house open, and there was an apartment complex across the street. And 2 women came in their 90s. Yes, they're like little nightgown slips.
They're muumuus. Let's go.
And they decided to start getting in the pool in the backyard in the middle of my open house. So that was fun. I told them they could not get in further than the steps, and I needed them to leave through the side door.
That is hilarious. I've never heard anything to that extreme.
Yeah.
I've always thought about it too. Like it's hot summer day. Like that pool's beautiful. Like let's just go jump in it. But that's
Oh yeah, it's an open house. Let's get some
It's
little
funny.
refreshments and then get in the pool.
I think it's a testament of like being 90 years old. Like, do you even give a shit anymore?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
I'm gonna jump in that pool, and what's the worst thing that's gonna happen to me? Am I going to jail? I don't know. And if we do, who cares?
No, I didn't call the cops. I did call my other half to make sure he came and made sure I was safe, but that was it.
That is hilarious. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
What's your specialty? Like, do you like first-time home buyers? Do you like sellers? Like, do you like what is?
Well, yeah, of
where
course.
do you feel like you
I love
connect with?
working with everybody, obviously. But my favorite are families and investors. So I really enjoy working with families to see them kind of grow and get into their new space and start their new chapter. Or even families that are downsizing because all their kids just got into college, they're moving off, and they want to get into smaller homes. Like, I like that transition piece and seeing them get their keys and know that that's where they're supposed to be. But then also I like to geek out on the investment side and do all the strategy, run the numbers, like really know what a financially good decision is and help my investors get like good short-term rental properties and Airbnbs. But when I went to the U of A, I was going for interior design. And so I really like seeing a space and knowing what it could look like. So whether that's with my families that are like, oh, it's not a 10, it's an 8. And I'm like, because I do like a scale
Right.
of 1 to 10. I'm like, yeah, but like, you know how easy that would be? Like
Right.
some people just don't have the vision.
Right.
And so helping them, or of course, showing an investor, like you should do this, this, and this, and
Right.
it's going to sell for more.
No, that's cool that you get to take what you went to school for and apply it in a unique way.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something like what we're doing now. It's like this marketing side of me. I get to use it now in my industry. That's really cool. So from the seller's side of it, now this is kind of weird because I feel like everybody's trying to get a deal and they're always trying to work things. Like, I don't know, the people that you may come across, but from my perspective, like they're trying to snag a deal, or it's, how do you know it's like too much let's talk about the seller side of where you're giving concessions and you got these people that want to lowball you and pay under because they think that they can because the house has been sitting and the way the market is just right now. What do you think is too much? Like, when do you just cut it off and you're like, that's our limit, no way?
You know, it's not up to me.
Right.
I learned that very quickly in this business
Right.
too. I am the agent. I can give the information, but ultimately it's up to my clients. I can advocate for them as best as I can, but unfortunately in this market, I just had a seller that sold for the exact same price he bought his house for 2 years ago. So he, he's going to lose some money on that, but he needed to for a financial reason for for his family.
Stages.
Obviously me, I'm like, we can get more, but he was willing to take that to get to the space that he
Right.
wanted to be. Sellers have to be patient and they have to be willing to negotiate. Gone are the days of right post-COVID where you could throw your house on the market, get multiple offers in one weekend, and you could be picky and choosy and not have to do repairs. Unfortunately, sellers really do have to prep their homes for sale these days and
Right.
put a little extra effort into getting it show ready, and price it right so that hopefully we do get multiple offers and they can maybe not have to give as much. But unfortunately, there's more buyers out there, or there's less buyers out there
Right.
now and more listings than ever.
Right.
And so you have to negotiate. You have to be willing to negotiate
Right.
or pay concessions to
Right.
let buyers pay their or buy their rate down
Right.
so that they can afford the home.
Right. No, I think that's a beautiful concept. At the same time, I like to believe that there's a price and a benefit to everything in life. And the benefit of being able to move your house is one thing, and the price you pay is sometimes if you change your perspective and you look at it from the buyer that you're helping with their payment, helping them afford it, helping them get ready for, especially with those temporary buy downs, you're watching them get ready to a bigger payment. Like they might be going from $800 to $1,400 to $2,400, and they're not used to it yet. So having something around $1,700 like is it's a jump, but it's not the end of the world, and
Yeah.
it's going to prepare them, and hopefully, like we keep saying, 2 years from now, I don't know how long I've said 24 months now, that it's going to get
Right.
better. I keep rolling this 2 years down. It's like a stone, and I'm like throwing
Yep,
it, skipping it
exactly.
2 years, picking it back up, and throwing it
Yep.
another 2 years. But the hope is that you're helping everybody, and you're doing the best that you can. With people that tend to want to do their own repairs and stuff like that. I run into people that they want to maximize, or even before refinance, they want to do things to their house first. What do you see actually adds value to their home?
Oh, that's a great question. So we always give like a 25-step thing to get your house ready. But what's the most important, like the top 3 things would be like paint, updating like old fixtures and burnt out lights, and I would say decluttering
Right.
and depersonalizing. Like people want move-in ready. When they walk in to see a house, they want to see themselves in the
Right,
home. They
their
don't
home.
want to see your family in the
Right.
home. But fresh paint can go a long way, especially if you have animals in your house and they're scratching up the doors and the baseboards, or kids, unfortunately, yeah, just having less things for a buyer to walk around the house and be like, I need to do this, I need to do this. By the time they get to 3 to 4, they're out. They're
Right.
on to the next house.
Right. 100%. No, that makes sense. That's some pretty strong wisdom in there. If people wanted to learn their agent, Rebecca Crane, what's some of the things you like to do for fun as a human yourself?
This is going to come as a shocker, but I love fishing. It's one
Interesting.
of my favorite hobbies to do. Obviously, we can't fish in Tucson too
Right.
often, but we have a cabin in Parker. We go to Alaska almost every other year. I just got back from Cabo with my business partners. So there's something about being on the water and reeling in one of those fish, like it's like you're in the casino. You're like, you're gonna
Right,
get one. I love to golf. I'm a member at Tucson Country Club, and at nights I read.
That's exciting. I think that's all positive things, right? I think from the fishing, I look at everything with analogies and take it to pretty hard, but it's the journey, right? Like you're out there and you're processing your thoughts, but at the same time, you do have a goal to catch a fish, but at the same time, you're out there enjoying the way that the sun reflects off the
Exactly.
water and whatever's in the background, and just enjoying your life, your
And
time.
that's actually very similar to golf.
Right.
You have one goal, but like you're thinking the whole time. You're getting better each and every
Right.
time. You got that one shot that keeps you coming back.
Right.
But you're also in the beautiful nature. Like sometimes you don't even feel like you're in Tucson at some of these golf courses.
Golf it hits home like right in the center of my heart, so deep for me. And it's everything from the smell of the cut grass to the certain time of year, like right now we got the winter rye out, and like it's just this fluffy grass, and the weather changes and the trees change, and the eagles that you get to see, or the hawks you
Yeah.
get to see,
The
and
coyotes
right,
playing out on the
lakes with the
fairway.
fish, and there's that aspect of it too. But I think what we talked about in the beginning of this podcast of the mindset, I think plays such a big role in golf. Like you can look at it as a game, but then you can also look at it on how you handle, like there's some agents that, I'm just gonna be straightforward. Like there's some agents that I've probably played golf with that, like, I don't know if I like that person, like as a human, you know, and I'm just being honest, because the way that they talk to themselves and the words that come out of their mouth and they process things, like it's intense. Like,
Yeah.
man, I can't believe you just called yourself that. Like,
Yeah.
and we're talking about how to get better. Like, how do you get better on your next shot if you're already on a down path from everything that just happened on the first one?
I just talked about that with some ladies I golfed with yesterday. I murdered this chip shot. Yes, I know, Tanner, it's not a surprise, but went over the green. But then if I would have just got in my head and been like, oh, I'm like the worst chipper ever. Well, no, I had to do another chip to
Right.
get on. And I got in within 2 feet of the hole.
Right there.
So it changed my whole.
Right. That whole vision, the thought process, being able to course correct. I think
Yep.
that, like, it comes down to how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're processing like that out there on a free environment, then how does, when things get tough and something happens out here on the field, like, how do you handle that as well? You know, and it's the same kind. Everybody likes to
is.
put on their suit and tie and play a certain role, but what's going on in that brain really matters, and those are the people that you want on your team. I love the funny that you talked about golf and old ladies. Like, my dad was a groundskeeper growing up,
Okay.
so I spent like summers out on the golf course, and while he's cutting, I can't be with him, so I'm with the pros and the old people, you know, waiting up front for him to get done. And I learned a lot of tricks on like putting and certain things that like for guys, like if you're not, like women putt and they'll put their left hand over, like you can use that technique to keep your arm straight if you have a problem with moving the ball. And so like even certain parts of the stroke or wrist placement on keeping your left arm locked, like those are things that I didn't learn from YouTube nowadays or
Yeah.
something crazy. Like those are old school techniques
Yeah.
from somebody who's been doing it their whole life that is about to pass in the next 5-10 years, and they're sharing me everything that they've messed up at.
Yeah.
Right
Or
then and there.
it's taken them a long time
Right.
to learn and get good at.
Right.
Yep.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah. So the golf, I think, is what you do on the outside too. I think is important.
Yeah. I mean,
it
it
plays a
makes
big role.
what you're doing and like the hard work that you are at the office doing every single day, it makes it worth it when you get to go out and do your hobbies and like enjoy,
Right.
you know, what do they say? Like when you reap the rewards of like
Right.
all of your hard work.
Right.
So
I think in this industry is being able to do that, right? Like who gets to go golf on Wednesday?
Yeah.
And it's you, because you probably did all your shit that you need to.
Yep.
So now you can go do that. Like you deserve it. You get to go do that. I think it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think that's going to come down to making sure you're doing the shit that you're supposed to do
in those other times.
when you do it. Yeah. And I think that's like, it's an important thing. Like, how do you, for me, that hits home with like your word, right? Like when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just with the clients, because I see a lot of people that will bend over backwards and for their clients, but at the same time, like, do they take care of themselves?
Yeah.
And golf and fishing and shit. Why am I forgetting that? What did you say else? There was a number
That's
3.
okay. I like to read.
Oh, read.
Yeah.
I love that. No, I love that. That was beautiful. Those things right there for you mean that you care about all those areas. You care about yourself with that. And I think that those are the types of people that are human, right? Like they want to work with somebody who's human, and you
Yeah.
can just communicate. And like if you're on the golf course and you need to communicate that, like people will understand that you're human. It's okay,
Yep.
especially with
exactly.
your partners.
Yep.
No, that's beautiful. Now I see your team like growing. You talked about coming back from Cabo. Like, what has that journey been like for you? I see you in a bigger space now. Like, tell me a little bit about your growth in real estate.
Well, I started off on a real estate team. I came from sports background, so I knew that, you know, I like to be in a team environment. I'm very competitive. I also know that, like, I'm not going to be good at everything right away, and I want to learn from other people. So I joined a team. After 2 years, 2-ish years, I left and I started my own team. It was just myself and 2 other agents, and Tanya, my transaction coordinator. We've been working together for 8 years now. And then COVID happened. and I was in the middle of a divorce and the world was shut down.
I'm sorry, I put a freaking ring on you just to hit you right in the
I know,
Make
that's
you
why I
think
said,
about
and
it.
look,
Here you
I'm
go.
married again. No, it's okay. I was approached by two gentlemen that I used to work with, and we came together and created what you see today, which was not the same when we first created it. It's been through its cycles and, growth and just continuing to learn and try to make this team better. Like, I don't know if I'd want to be on our team when we first started.
Right.
It was crazy. But also it was 2020 and
Right.
the phones were just ringing. But we've really, our culture means so much to us. So it's been great to see, we are a family. We all hang out outside of work too. Right. And we can all lean on each other and help each other. And so it's beautiful. I have a second family.
You hear that, Jay? Well, I was speaking to you the whole time. Right?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see. Like, you can see you guys connected, and I mean, the work that you guys are doing within social media, I think that's another aspect of it, and a whole different. I mean, it's been around, but at the same time, I think now people see that they have to do it, right? And it's important to be relevant and to be present if you want to compete, because you talked about a competitive background, and kudos to you for continuing to grow. What are some of the things that you might have down the pipe? Like, we're talking about, you just did a long chip shop right now and you got to get close to that hole. What's down the pipe for you guys?
We're gonna need a bigger office.
Let's go.
I don't know. I think, we're really focusing on investments right now, buying more homes. I'm trying to buy a house a year for my family. Our team's trying to flip more homes. We don't want to get too big because we want to keep this family. We'd prefer to have everyone stay forever than to keep doing turnover and keep growing. So I don't know. We probably have to have another talk with the new year coming up about our goals soon.
I love that. Is that something that you do? Do you guys set goals and track them? I talked about that earlier.
Yes, absolutely. And we're coming up on that. So it's November. So right now is the time to set your goals for the next year so that you have a month and a half to really narrow down what you're going to do to hit those goals so that come January 1, you're already ahead. Right. Well, and in our business, what you do today affects you 3 months from now. So technically we're already in 2026. We're in Q1 right now. Right? Yep, for sure. We're writing offers for the end of December right now. So in a couple weeks, we're going to be writing offers for January. Right.
They're already not making their mortgage payment until next year.
Yep.
And I think that's intense. I think what's important about that is the habits I think you see of everybody wants to grow and they want to set a bigger number than they did last year or where they are at. But at the same time, do you have the habits in place to hit those numbers? Because that means how many more phone calls are you going to have to make?
Exactly.
How many more people are you going to have to be face-to-face with in order to make that happen?
You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Right, it's insanity.
Yeah, you have to be willing to put in the work if you want to make more money.
Right. That was rough. That was a clip right there. Did you hear that? Just taking it. Ladies and gentlemen, Rebecca Crane out here live doing a podcast. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your journey. I appreciate you having me on the show, having me in front of your people with the hospitality.
Yeah, please. I would love to do this again. This was great.
So let's go. Run it back.